All right. You might not have been looking, but you done found the greatest fantasy show on the internet right here. It's happening. You got the bald white guy. I'm Russell Maben. This is my best friend, Jay Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Temple, Texas. Killeen, Texas. We mess around and got about 10 kids between us. Of course, I do most of the heavy lifting on that, but that's all right. It's all good. And once again, this is Fantasy Game Time. We can be found at fantasy_game time on Twitter. We can also be found at Fantasy One Game Time on YouTube, and we'll let you know that we'll be checking that, so you can comment on that. You can subscribe to that. It'll let you know what we got going on. And if you got questions about your lineup, preferably not about your lineup, let's go with something else. But if you got it,
playing me,
especially if you got him this week, I'll answer all your questions for you. Yeah, if you got lineup questions and you're playing Jay, he'll answer them. If you got lineup questions and you're asking and you're playing me, I'll answer those questions for you.
Lost by 1 point last week.
You're like, dang it, it's a piece of crap, man.
I know it.
That show is not helpful. So we're gonna kick it off, and we're football experts, okay?
Oh, yeah,
I'm a middle school teacher, and he works at Walmart. So, I mean, if anybody knows football, it's going to be us. So that's just how this goes. We're as hot of a mess as anybody else, and we get as much wrong and right as the experts.
Right. So why not?
So, I mean, crap. I mean,
it makes it so much easier now.
Why not just pay us? Just pay us.
I'll put a suit on at the
Yeah,
time.
crap. I might as well be a weatherman. Tell them, hey, it's going to be really hot tomorrow. Well, crap, it rained. Well, watch again tomorrow. I'm gonna guess again tomorrow.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so we're gonna be honest, and we're gonna be humble. I mean, this is gonna be a jacked up show. That's just kind of how we roll. But we made some calls last week.
Right now, I
Top
need to go
starters.
first.
We made some calls last week, and we're gonna call it out.
But see, do the professionals do this? Do they go back and
No,
say,
heck no, they didn't say nothing about last week. Like, you want over or under on this? Forget it. I don't care.
Yeah, man. So,
Mr. Thompson, did you make any predictions last week?
I made a prediction on the first play. This guy was going to get the ball, and it didn't turn out.
No.
No.
You made a prediction about his entire game, and you were like, first play, I got it.
Okay, all right. So, right off the bat, we made some predictions, and my number one bad prediction was on Hunt. He went absolutely crazy against the Patriots. And
Against who, Jay?
Yeah. He went off on the Patriots.
Okay.
Like,
so you didn't enjoy that at all?
oh man, it was just to see Tom Brady's face like that. It's like he's just.
It's like watching the old Manning palms up. They both do it. I wonder if go back to Archie and see if he watch some film on him and see if he did.
But the bad part about it is Hunt was doing so good and going off, right? So I turned away from the game, went in the kitchen for a minute, and I kind of glanced and I saw a Chief going for a touchdown.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, Hunt again, but it was West. And I don't know why I was happy. Like, I didn't want Hunt to go off.
Yeah, 200 yards and 3 touchdowns wasn't enough. Yeah.
Oh, man. So I was like, yes, it was a Hunt. I would be totally wrong, like I wasn't wrong already.
Yeah.
But, and it just, it actually made it fun. Because I'm like, you know what? They get it wrong just as much as we do.
Hey,
so,
I got to own that. At least,
yeah, right.
And the bad part was you didn't start him.
Right. So I had to back myself up. I can't say don't start him and then I'll do it.
This guy's gonna suck. Start lineup. There we go. All right. Well, if you recall, if you watched last week,
oh man,
when he said that, what did I do? I took the other end of that. I told him they're not gonna let Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce beat them. They said, if you can beat us with 27, let us do it. Because Belichick did it to Thurman Thomas in the Super Bowl. He did it to Marshall Faulk in the Super Bowl. I'm like, he's going to say, if you can beat us with 27, let us do it. So I tried to talk you out of that.
But, something that I saw, I didn't see the whole game, but Andy Reid, is a good coach.
Sure.
And one thing I saw that he was doing was, if we know it, then they know it.
Oh,
so Andy Reid was like, well, if you're going to take Tyreek Hill and you're going to have 5 people on Hill, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just bring Hill in motion So 5 people go with him, and then bam, just like that, we gonna run the other way. And it was just beautiful how he was moving Hill on the snap.
It seemed like somebody possessed the Chiefs or something. They were running trick plays and throwing it deep, and it's kind of like,
it's called
who are you people?
No pass rush. We can sit back here and just go really deep into the playbook. So that's the one thing I think he used Belichick against himself. He really moved Hill around.
Belichick messes up.
Yeah, man. I guess he human, got a heartbeat. So
I guess so.
I wonder what his press conference was like. I mean,
we just did the best we could. I mean, there's just so much we got to clean up. That was a direct quote. Well, if you jacked up on a rookie, at least I jacked up on like the top player in the league, the guy I picked for offensive player of the year, David Johnson. He didn't do crap. He got hurt. He probably lost about 5,000 people in the league last week. So I own that one, but you know that's my fault for taking a front runner.
But injuries, I mean, man, I never want to fault someone for getting injured. But I just wonder how many leagues out there teams are going to be unowned all of a sudden. Like that was their pick, and then now he hurt, then they just don't go back to it no more. Like
auto select. All right, I'm done with this. I'm not setting this lineup again. Yeah. I wonder how many free agent dollars are spent on Kerwin Williams or Chris Johnson or whoever else. We'll get to that crap later. But you did hit on some things. What did you hit on?
All right. I said that T.Y. Hilton wasn't going to do nothing. You see, that's what I made 4 predictions, and I got 1 wrong, so I got a 75. I passed. So that's how I looked at it. You got to make it right for yourself.
Crap, weatherman can't even bat 500. That's pretty good.
Right? That's what, 300, that's you, Hall of Fame in baseball, right?
That's it, man. 300.
So, like I said, T.Y. Hill wasn't going to do nothing. The quarterback play is just horrendous. And I did say Cook was going to go off. You know, Dalvin Cook, I said he was going to show up Peterson.
He did.
And so I had to tip my cap to myself for that, pat myself.
Don't break your arm, pat yourself on the back over it.
And I said Peterson wasn't going to do nothing.
I didn't sign up for 9 carries.
Well, he did do something. He gave a stare. You know. He made a meme for the whole world to use. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what else is going to go with that look at Peyton. You know what I'm saying? Here's
the quote I like. I didn't sign up for 9 carries. Yes, you did, man. They signed you for how many millions of dollars? You can get 0 carries if you want. You're still getting paid.
But the one thing about it, I don't know if something was said, but he was too happy at the end. I don't know if he saw all the way through the game, but like once it was over, he was smiling, high-fiving, and I'm just like, you were just mad 5 seconds ago.
The competitor, you know.
Yeah, and it's like,
I don't know.
Somebody say, hey, man, you want to be cut tomorrow? I mean, I don't know what was said, but he was just too happy at the end. I don't know.
You've never liked people being happy at the end of a game anyways. It's just kind of like, don't be slapping people on the back. Don't be helping them up. I told you, and I'll stick by it, man. If Peterson and Lynch together get 1,000 yards, I'll be shocked. Of course, I did take a front runner, and this is one that I hit on. I took a front runner, Le'Veon Bell, and I said, don't play him against the Browns. The Browns, man. We're talking about the Browns, dude. And I got away with it because he didn't do crap. I think they ran for like 20-something yards as a team.
It was a weird game. Like, I don't know. They didn't. It's not like he didn't. I mean, they just didn't run. It was just crazy. I don't know.
We're gonna throw for 200 yards to Antonio Brown, and that's how we're rolling.
Jesse James who can catch all the touchdowns, and then the game over.
There's more on him coming. I also hit on Stephon Diggs. We were talking about how what the heck, man? I mean, how is this guy good? He's not fast. He can't jump. Why is this guy good? But I don't know, man. He was standing. I mean, there were cheerleaders closer to him than there were, the Saints on that game. That was bad. Then Alshon Jeffrey. Sorry, dog. South Click didn't come through for you. So
we got 1 miss and 3. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
That's pretty good. So not too bad. Anything pop up last week that surprised you, that shocked you?
Well, the Giants' offense being that bad, it just blew my mind. I mean, it's like You got Manning. He got all these weapons. That was the talk of the whole offseason.
First round pick.
Oh yeah, I mean he just got
Marshall.
plethora of receivers, and he got a
You
new
just
toy.
invented a word. A what?
No, I
Not a
didn't even try.
plethora. No, not a plethora. What do you got? Oh, yeah.
He got a lot. He got a lot of receivers.
A gaggle.
Yeah, he got a whole heap of them. And then he got a new tight end. And you know how the man is love tight ends.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you just knew.
Offensive-minded coach.
Manning,
Marshall.
whatever he want. Yeah. And then they don't even throw the ball to Brandon Marshall. Like, it was blowing my mind. Like, why? And he wasn't even getting mad. Like, the new players are just, what's up? Like,
see, you got
is he going through the motion?
No, you got no respect for the dominant doomsday defense that the Cowboys put on them out there. Wait till we get all our rookies back, man. It's going to be nasty, man. It's going to be nasty. Okay, maybe the Giants suck. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I got some more coming on that.
But then they probably win the Super Bowl because that's what they do.
Hey,
it don't matter right now.
I put them in the Super Bowl last week.
They don't care about right now. They don't care about
Ridiculous.
that.
My surprise was how many people finished in the top 10 at the different positions.
Go stat guy.
Hey, this is what I'm saying. I mean, that were completely weren't drafted at all in fantasy football. I mean, we're 19 rounds that we have in our redraft league, and none of them got drafted. And there were just, and then we had four out of the top 8 quarterbacks were free agents. Like, if that doesn't tell you, like,
you don't
how...
know nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you can do what... I mean, I wish you could know what was going to happen the next week and then go pick up those players and go, yeah, I think I'm going to start Sam Bradford this week. You know, I'm going to throw Kareem Hunt up there.
How many fantasy magazines and shows? And
there was a bunch of them in a fire last week. They were just tossing them in there for a bonfire. But then I had 4 of the top 10 running backs. Only 4 of the top 10 were, like, the top pick guys, the first and early second round kind of guys. And then the tight ends, like nobody showed up. Kelsey, Olsen, Gronk. I mean, nobody showed up. So
it's a weird week.
We always say that at the beginning of the year, but then things kind of shake out different every year. That's why in the draft, here's my draft tip next year. Draft whoever the heck you want, because you can be as right as anybody out there.
Right. If you want them, just get them.
Just take them. Whatever round you want, go get them.
So I can get a team of Dolphins and roll with it.
Go. Do it. I mean, you might suck week 1, but come on. I mean, make it happen.
Oh, man. So you said this, the way all the stats played out, it was just so weird.
You can't predict this crap, man. I mean, you can try.
Right.
But, I mean, pick who you want.
That's why I'm so confident in doing this. So
Yeah, and then we're in dynasty leagues together, and we spend all this time building players and getting picks and moving all this stuff around, and then man, the year starts, and like 5 minutes in, you're like, well, this whole team sucks. I'm trading everybody on this team for a draft pick, you know? So, I mean, it's stupid. I mean, it's just crazy.
Right. But the thing about it is, and I get it wrong every year, some of this is going to last. You know what I'm saying? Some of the guys that went off are going to be good this year.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, but some of these guys, it was just a weak thing, and they're going to go back to reality. So, trying to decipher which is which, you know, and I normally get it wrong. So
look at man.
Yeah.
See, South Carolina creeps in on him every once in a while. He starts trying to say plethora and stuff like that, and he just falls apart. And but that's all good, man. All right, so I'm gonna try to stay awake for the next 3 minutes, man. Let's go through the Thursday game and let's talk about.
Thursday game.
The Thursday game, man. Yeah, Thursday game. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean,
I didn't even see the whole game, but I mean,
neither did half of America.
Right. We didn't miss much, man. It was one of those like
there were players' parents that didn't finish watching that game. It's ridiculous, man. It was the most boring game ever. It's like 3 and out, and ladies and gentlemen, here comes Kevin Huber. I mean, that guy right there, his leg, the punters were limping off the field last night. One of them's 40 years old anyways.
Yeah.
Like,
they were pumping the punters, so you know it's a bad game.
Working their leg a little bit.
This guy can punt, man.
Woo. That's inside the 5 again, Bob. Oh, man, that's great. That's fantastic.
But, you know, like you said, it was a boring game, but just to see the punishment that Deshaun Watson took last night, man, it was just like some of it is legal, but it's like, can that be legal? Like, I mean, he was getting pushed. I was telling guys at work today, like he was a piece of paper or something. Like, I mean, it was just like push him, and he went back like, my push. Yeah, but they pushed him, and he went back like 10 yards every time, like just a rag doll, man. It's like, wow, this it just blew my mind. The punishment he took.
He looked a little rough, man.
Right. And then, answer this for me. You go from college, I mean, wide open. What he did to Alabama defense twice.
800 yards.
And then that game last night, it was like Hopkins on a comeback, and that was the whole game. You know what I'm saying? Hopkins go 10 push off, come back.
I know. I started Hopkins. I know that. They were trying everything they could to get it to that guy. It's like, but the offense.
That's all they were, man. It's like, how can you be that this dynamic and then come to the league and then just be this stale?
Because when you go from college, no playbook, standing at the line and just like, and that means something to every single person on the field, and then go from that to a play that's this long to with 700 syllables in it, and you got to know everybody's the coverage and all that stuff and identifying the mic and all that stuff that they have to do. It's a different world. They talk about different language. I think it's like learning 2 languages for the college quarterbacks now, because the college quarterbacks don't learn a playbook anymore.
Right.
And one of the things that for me that jumped out last night was, when are these teams going to learn? This game is very, very, very complicated, but it's very, very simple. It's blocking and tackling, and if you can't block, you're going to get tackled. And neither of these teams have spent any resources on getting their offensive line. Cincinnati let a tackle walk. They let a guard walk last year. Didn't replace them. And the Texans, they got a tackle holding out. Name anybody on the Texans' offensive line at all. I mean, it was they couldn't block. And Geno Atkins was like, "Can we play them next week?"
Oh man, boy, yeah, he went to the Pro Bowl week 1. He got already hooked up.
And I already know how this goes, because from the middle of Troy Aikman's career until the middle of Tony Romo's career, we didn't spend anything on a draft pick. Then we're like, oh, the quarterback is going to get killed, and we can't run the ball if we don't have an offensive line. So we start drafting offensive linemen, 3 in a row in the first round, 3 in a row all pro. And now all of a sudden it's like, that was his offense, like, we'll talk about that coming up too. So there's another tease. It's coming.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, boring, and it just blew my mind how just
a lack of
plain
imagination.
It was. Yeah, it was just all Watson had to do was not mess it up, just not throw a pick, just not fumble,
run for your life,
and we win. Yeah. So that's what he did, and bam.
That one little fumble, got their little field goal and that one run. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's like, I promise, they're not going to drive the ball on us, and they're not going to get in the end zone. So forget them.
And then they offensive coordinator got fired today for the Bengals.
For the Bengals.
But
he should have.
But I mean, okay, but what are they doing? Like, you get Mixon, but then you don't use them really. Like, get some kind of identity. I think. Like, I mean, at least if you not get the ball to Mixon or throw it to Green every time. Like, do something to say this is what we gonna do. You got to stop.
There's nothing they're hanging their hat on.
Right. They just, I don't know. It's just
that's the way Dallas was for a long time. It's kind of like, well, we got Romo. Like, what else? Well,
I mean, if Watson get figured out, say, you know what, I'm just throwing the Hopkins. I mean, I could kill.
That's what it looked like he was doing.
Yeah, like this my homeboy.
He had one throw down the field where Braxton Miller had broken away from, I think it was Pac-Man. And he was on, and he laid it out there, but he didn't put it out there far enough, and so he caught up and broke the play up. But I mean, it was just like no shots downfield, no creativity. I'm with you, man. Let's move on.
Okay.
Crap, that sucked.
And I hope that's not how all the Thursday nights going to go.
But I think it is. I think the Thursday night product is crap because they don't give you the week off before. I think if you're going to have a Thursday game, you got to give them the week off after or the week off before. I mean, in my opinion, you know, I tweeted the commissioner this week, you know, about why does Dallas have to go Sunday, Thursday, Thursday when everybody else in the league goes Sunday, Thursday, Sunday? You know?
And what did he say?
I think mentally he gave me the middle finger, but he didn't say anything on Twitter. All right, so let's go to our next phase here, which is our strategy tip of the week. So this is, if you're in a fantasy league, this is a tip for you. What you got?
Okay, well, I got a news flash.
Here we go.
I don't know. We got to get some sound effects. We go, but New England and the Saints defense are not good. So
Joe said you got something to write with.
They're not good, man. So I don't know that game. I mean, start everybody. I mean, I don't know if this league with linemen get points.
You get a start. You get a start.
But that game is. I just think it's gonna be a video game because that's the one big thing I took out of that New England Chief game is their defense. You can.
But they went. They re-signed Hightower, and then they went and got Gilmore, and you know they made I thought uncharacteristic Patriot moves, trading draft picks.
Right. They don't never go that route.
They never do that.
Right. And it just unless they do what they do and just snap their fingers and everybody's all pro again. But from what I saw, that defense. I mean, because Alex Smith was sitting back there all day, like this dude Whitney Catton. You know, that night, Hall of Fame, because he was just sitting back there throwing the ball. I mean, you got a running back downfield running the post. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and he got time for him to go, beat him, hurry up!
Read number 1, read number 2, read number 3.
And these guys aren't open.
Yeah, so, you know, no pass rush, and that's just not New England. Normally they got somebody but they just
and
kept getting rid of them.
You never heard of. You know?
Right, they started getting rid of them. Oh man, we can scheme up pass rush. Go trade my man to the Cardinals. Trade my man to the Browns.
Yeah.
Make a trade for this guy. Release him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's always like right in their prime, they get rid of him when they're the highest value. Seymour, you know, and Collins, and all these guys is right when they're like, all right, he's kind of starting to get it. Like, yeah, you fixing start getting hurt, man. Get out of here.
No, you're going to start wanting some money, man. Bye.
Yeah.
So that's I just think that game is just it's going to be high scoring. So it's a fantasy dream, I think.
Watch it be 3-3. 3 minutes left in the game. My tip for this week is don't start last week's winning lineup. Okay.
So you don't believe the hype on nothing.
Well, not don't believe the hype on nothing, but if you got a guy that you believe in and you drafted and you put him in your starting lineup, dance with who you brought. You know, just play those people. Mind you, I'm starting Tariq Cohen this week, but you know, I'm just saying, you know, but that's because I have nothing at all at running back. I got me and Jay at running back in one league, man. That's ridiculous.
Man, I wasn't looking for that guy too. I mean, with the dynasty drafts and stuff, and I had him in my mind and on my paper, but he's just so small.
I know. That's why I took him in the 4th round. I was like, you know what? Once he gets this late, I'm throwing mud on the wall for running backs. I just need somebody.
Man, but he's just so small, man. I'm like, you know, everybody's supposed to be the next Sproles and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And
just because you're short doesn't make you Darren Sproles.
Oh man. So you saying don't get too overwhelmed with what happened last week. Go ahead and make your picks.
I mean, Benny Fowler scored 2 touchdowns. Don't start him over A.J. Green. You know, I mean, I know A.J. Green didn't do great last night, but I mean, just don't do stuff like that. All right, so let's move on to quarterbacks. Who you got this week? Who's a good start?
Okay,
nice segue, by the way.
Right. Breeze and Brady, because like I said, that matchup, nobody wants to play defense, and they both coming off, you know, losses. So A is gonna light it up.
Be
So,
ticked off.
yeah.
Welcome to our broadcast. That's what we do, man. The dog's barking.
Game time. And the dogs in the house.
What year is this, man? Let's do something stupid. All right. Well, I got Derek Carr at home against the Jets because he's Derek Carr and they're the Jets.
Oh, I see. You got the broken leg line up for this. Go ahead.
What's my man's name? The guy that did the anger translator, whatever. He goes, these guys are Derek and Marcus, and neither one of them are black. You know, but yeah, I got Derek Carr at home against the Jets because I don't believe in anything the Jets are doing. I don't even know who's going to start Week 16 for the Jets at quarterback. I mean, it might be Colin Kaepernick. I have no idea at all. So I just think, he's going to light them up. And then other broken leg guy, I'm going to go with Mariota at the Jaguars.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I like Tennessee's offense this year because they are building by the offensive line. They've got several guys on their line they're not just good offensive linemen, they play with the right attitude. Taylor Lewan does not like people on Sundays between 12 and 3 at all. And he is just not a very nice cat. And they got Delaney Walker. They drafted Davis in the first round. Eric Decker knows what he's doing. They got Murray. They got Henry. They got options, and he can run. And I think quarterbacks that can run for 6-7 touchdowns a year are worth their weight in gold.
So you don't believe in? I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jacksonville defense. I know it's 10 years. It's supposed to be. Oh, they drafted a first round pick. They're gonna be great, but. I mean, I actually believe that
Didn't we just talk about how bad Houston's offense was? Do you think that was Jacksonville's defense, or do you think that was Houston's offense?
Well, I guess seeing Thursday night,
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
So, what was the problem Week 1 with Mariota and the boys?
I think Week 1 is kind of like what I talked about in my surprises. It's kind of sloppy week. It's almost like preseason Week 6. You know what I mean? Because you're coming out there. You played. If you're a starter, you played the preseason 3 quarters? 4? Yeah. And so I mean timing. I think people underestimate timing. I think that's why you can't just grab a guy and throw him in there like Jacoby Brissett. I think he's a better quarterback than Scott Tolzien, but I don't think
he's.
I don't think you can expect him to have much success.
He's gonna.
The best thing you can do is put him in now and let him try.
Because he wants you losing.
I mean, crap.
This dude was throwing the worst picks of all time, like that first pick.
Hey, do not insult Achille Smith in front of me ever again. People take all these different quarterbacks for the worst quarterback of all time. I'm taking Achilles Smith. That guy sucks.
He had an Achilles Smith moment. That's what it was.
He did.
I was like, I know he didn't throw that. I mean, even the defensive back was like, wow.
Yeah.
So he's not good at all. So why not?
All right.
And you done made a move to get the guy. So
all right.
let's play him. Yeah.
All right. What you got at running back?
Now, so we gonna do this.
Mr. Le'Veon Bell.
Let's do this. If we're going to do it, let's do it. So, my running backs, I'm going with the old guys this week. Why not?
Hashtag why not?
I'm saying, Beast Mode had a pretty good game, right? They pumped him up like he went
Tony
for 300
predicted
or
half
something.
of it, yeah.
Oh, well, but I'm saying, Beast, what was the matchup again? I don't remember. Can you pull up who they're playing? But, I'm saying Beast Mode is going to have a great game
at home against the Jets, baby. Yeah, there you go.
I think that's going to be that. Skittles going to be raining all over the place that game, and
all right.
I'm gonna give Peterson one last hurrah this week, and I know it's not everybody's not thinking that right now, but that's why we do this. That's why I can say whatever, because we in my office, so I can say what I want.
With a dog and an ironing board. I mean, this is the biggest hot mess you've ever seen, trust me.
So I'm going to say Peterson go at least get in the end zone maybe a couple times. He might not have the yardage, but it's going to be, man, you remember Peterson, that one, this last year, that one game where he kind of went off? Yeah, no, okay.
So you're saying this is going to be the game for Arizona where Emmitt Smith threw the touchdown pass or something like that?
Like, oh, you did play for the Cardinals. I remember that now.
I
that
forgot.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, you
So
know,
why not?
You know my affinity for old running backs. I just
Right,
love
right.
them to death. But so I'm gonna definitely go the other
Hard
direction.
pass. Hard pass.
I'm going to give him a Jason Williams out there. I don't think so. I am going to take a front runner, but I'm taking him against a front running defense. Okay, so I'm going to take Ezekiel Elliott. I believe he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. And yes, the Denver defense is good. I get that. But the Cowboys actually do have an identity. And they do what they do. If you remember last year in Green Bay, they went up there without Des Bryant. They went up there without Tony Romo, and they were missing a few defensive players. And they were like, "How bad's Green Bay gonna, beat the Cowboys?" And they were number 1 in the league against the rush. Well, what did the Cowboys do?
Punishment.
I mean, literally just we're fixing to smash them.
Atkins them.
Yeah. So I think the Cowboys are gonna play the way they play, and Zeke's gonna run it up on the Broncos. And to completely be exact opposite of you, as if I'm not already, I'm taking Fournette versus the Titans. Sorry, Richard. So I'm taking Fournette.
So you're going with the young guys.
I'm going with the young
with
guys.
the old
You can have the old people. I'm taking the young people.
Well, just for a week.
It's a week. I don't get any of these guys on my team except for Zeke. So that'll work. All right, wide receiver. What you got?
Well, I pull up the schedule again, man. I'm gonna do better than have my schedule on my paper
right
here.
right?
Yeah, so I got Doug Baldwin
At home against the 49ers.
Yeah, they had too bad up. Their game was horrible. They played against Green Bay, and I just think this is gonna be a bounce back week for them. So
It better be against the 49ers. It better be.
Oh man, wasn't like last week the 49ers defense was like, you know what I'm saying, like the greatest. And
Well, when Harbaugh was there, they were.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, so, but yeah.
They got tired of going 12-4. They got rid of that guy. Get the heck out of here.
So I just think he's gonna have a big game, and
I personally think this guy is probably the most underappreciated fantasy player out there, man. 'Cause
Right.
I mean,
Right.
to me, if you'd have taken him in the first round, I'd have been like, okay.
all right.
Because I mean, if you just go back and look at the end of every year, he's always up there.
Yeah.
He's always right there.
But a lot of his is this big games. He
It
have
is.
a game with like 3 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying?
But it's not like Deshaun Jackson. This guy catches passes every week, though.
Right.
I mean, he is
Right.
consistent.
More consistent, but it's the monster games.
Good job
that-
on saying consistent, by the way. That's not Jay's forte, those big words like that, man. He pulls one out every once in a while.
All right, you gonna mess up tonight too, and I'm gonna get you. But and then I got an old theme going on right now. But
You do?
Fitzgerald,
Okay.
another team player that had a
At the Colts.
right. See, you know what I'm saying? Colts don't know. Like I was talking to you, I named a pass rusher like who.
It's like Dwight. No, that's not going to work at all.
Oh,
Bjorn Word.
I was
No,
talking
that's
to
not
Ed,
gonna
man.
work.
What's my man? The middle linebacker they had for Jackson, DeQuell Jackson. You know what I'm
Jackson.
saying? No, he not there no more.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think he's still playing. That guy's-
The safety used to have come up and get hurt every 5 minutes.
Bob
Just-
Sanders.
Yeah.
Won the Super Bowl
He
for
not
him.
there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They got nothing.
Zero, man.
They got Jahar Ostel Thompson.
Like, this how we can do this? I think I can go be their GM. Like, it'd be okay.
Trust me, if you live in Indianapolis, there are people that want that guy fired. Trust me.
Yeah, so I just see
Andrew Luck
Fitzgerald.
may never have a career if that guy stays there because he will not address the offensive line. He's like the Giants; they just refuse.
Well, I mean, like just players. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they, So I'm gonna look at those two guys. They not big, big name ones, but I think they got real good matchups this week.
I'm not going big names either. I'm going to go with Crabtree at home against the Jets because I went with Carr, and I think Carr's gonna throw it. And if I'm the Jets, it better be Crabtree that beats you because if you go play the Raiders and you let Amari Cooper beat you, you need to be slapped. I mean, roll coverage over there. Get some help over there, and I think they're at least that smart because I actually like their coach. I think he's going to get fired, but I like their coach. I like Bulls.
Yeah.
The and the other one I'm gonna take is Terrell Pryor versus the Rams, because it looked like, if you looked at the stat line, it looked like he had sort of an average or below average week last week.
Right.
But if you watch the game, he dropped about a 60-yard touchdown pass that hit him in the
Right.
face.
Like what? Like he would like, hold up, why is the ball coming to me? It was like, he was in the
Like it
Browns.
snuck up on him. Or
Right, well, the
something.
Browns, the ball was going every which way.
Oh, yeah.
And now it was like, oh.
I don't have to do a backflip for this one? All right. Yeah, but I mean, I think he even like dove when he didn't even need to. I mean, that ball was just fluttering in there like a butterfly.
The first play of the game, they threw a bomb to him, and he just looking for the ball. He just, for something like that, was like one of the first times he didn't look like a receiver to me. Like he was kind of little.
That guy is a hard worker, and he's humble too, because he wanted to be a quarterback.
Right.
And when they said,
Yeah, peace.
it's not going to work, man. Yeah. He's like, look, man, I'm 6'4", I'm 230. I'd be a killer wide receiver. I'll be what David Boston was supposed to be, instead of just eating tacos.
Lifting weights.
Yeah. So I got Crabtree versus the Jets and Pryor versus the Rams at the Rams, and you got Baldwin and Fitzgerald. What you got at tight end?
Tight end, man. I go back to this game again. That Saints and New England game is Gronk.
Front runner.
Yeah,
Front runner.
Sometimes you got to take a front runner, man. Hey, I'll take that name.
Yeah, I'm taking Zeke and I'm calling you a front runner.
But yeah, I just, Gronk was too quiet. Like,
Well, he caught that touchdown, but it just got overturned.
Okay, well, I'm just looking at the stat line, and I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
like, he
it's
should
like
have
3 or
been
4 catches.
like, especially when you know Edelman not there, you would think like, okay,
Maybe that's why though.
but he's
Who
Gronk.
else?
You know what I'm saying? When did it ever
He's a
matter?
man.
It's Gronk. When it ever mattered? I mean, you can double team him, and they just, he still gets it. Like, how do y'all not cover him? So
How could you cover him? He's 6'8", 270. I mean, what are you going to do?
Right,
Well,
right.
we're going to put a safety on him. Okay, that's good luck with that.
yeah, he is one of those, like, when he's running, it don't look like he's going that fast, but he's like,
Yeah, but he's
one
taking
step
one
is
step.
10
Yeah.
yards.
Yeah.
So I just think he's gonna have a big bounce back game, and Brady had a bad game, and the smart ones know, okay, let me go to what I know, and that's Gronk. And I guess I only picked out a few games, and it's gonna stay there. But Graham, I just think the Seahawks gonna have a good game, and I just see him doing better because he's another one. I think it was last year he started out so slow, and then bam, 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. And
All right, let me ask you this. Knowing what you know about the Seahawks line and their offense, would you redo that trade? Take Unger back and the pick and get and let the Saints keep Graham?
because he really hadn't been Graham for them.
To me, it's like they don't want a front running tight end. They need Luke Wilson.
Oh
and,
my goodness, yeah.
Russell Maven and
Right.
guys you never heard of.
Right.
They scored touchdowns against the Cowboys, and I'm like, who the heck is that guy?
He blocked for 99 plays, but the one play he go out.
Yeah,
Like, he wide
no
open.
wonder he scored. We didn't have any idea he could run. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean, that's
they
just
do.
kind of like not their
Right.
MO. So I thought it was a weird move. Anyway, I remember when did he get traded? Like right when free agency started or something like that. It was like right at the beginning of free agency, I think, because one of my students goes, Jimmy Graham got traded to the Seahawks. And I'm like, you're a moron. He didn't get traded to the Seahawks. Pull up NFL.com. I'm like, holy crap, he sure did.
Yeah, but it was more money, and it was just.
I don't know. I think they regret that trade now when they see how bad their offensive line is shaking out.
Well, it was one play where if Russell just threw the ball up, it was a touchdown. He was double covered. But,
he plays basketball.
Right. He didn't put it up. So I just see 2 front runners having a good game. Like let's go, because nobody else did nothing really. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go with.
Well, we talked about earlier how none of the stud tight ends showed up, so we both took a bunch of front running tight ends. I'm going Jordan Reed, who I think is a matchup nightmare when he's healthy. So I'm taking him now while he's healthy before he gets hurt. I'm taking him against the Rams because I don't
Why
believe.
you hating on the Rams?
Let me tell you something, man. I don't believe what the Rams did last week.
I don't believe it either.
Jared Goff looked like a competent NFL quarterback. I watched this guy on Hard Knocks. He is not a competent NFL quarterback.
They got a new coordinator, man. Been working with him and all that good stuff.
The guy's 14 years old that's coaching that team, man. Come on, man. That's hilarious to me how their coach is like 14 and then their defensive coordinator is like 81. You know, it's like, Wade Phillips is, he's been coaching. I mean, you
don't like the Rams defense? Like
I don't think
because you got the tight end and you got the receiver going off. Like you just think they just and they're at home. I mean,
here's the thing with the Rams defense, and I love Wade Phillips because Wade Phillips knows what he's doing, and he can make. I mean, he could take me and you and make something happen. But I do believe in Wade Phillips, but I don't think they've got it yet because.
Leave my Rams alone.
Hey man, I still got my wallet right here. Rams, dude. It's the Rams, dude. No, but here's the thing: they've drafted a bunch of good defensive linemen, and they've hit on these picks. And they got guys I wish we would have had, that wish they'd have left them alone and we would have taken them. But they've never put it together. They've got all the talent, and it's just never gotten put together.
Well. They did the whole, we got defense, but then we don't got no offense. Then they went, so.
Sure. But now they're even changing the whole defense. They went from a 4-3 to a 3-4. And I just think there's a transition time. And they got talent. I'm not saying they're not talented. They got talent. They got talent at all three levels. But I just think it's early in the year. And I'm taking. I'm
holding you on that one, man.
All right. Hold my feet to the fire. And I'm taking another front runner. Taking Travis Kelce against the Eagles, just because I don't think he's going to be quiet 2 weeks in a row. He's too much of a showboat, and he's too much of a clown.
Man, he got a bad foul penalty the other night too. He had a nice run.
Yeah, he's
one of those. Act like a white guy. What's up with him?
He kind of acts like Shockey. He's kind of shocky,
but it's like,
except he's actually good.
Oh man, but it's like he throwing people off and like, dude,
he does act like a white guy, but he acts like a white guy that's got one of those armband tattoos, and what I mean. He's just,
get off me.
He's the guy that blows the kisses to the girls in the stands on the sideline and stuff.
I like the dances and stuff, but man, keep it together, man. Like, what are you so mad about? Goodness, man.
Like, you're white, man. Crap. Whatever happened to white privilege?
Get off me. Like, dude, you had an 8-yard run, man. Just take it 2nd and 2, man. Now.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Like, dude, calm down, man. Maybe he was getting frustrated. I don't know.
See, there we go.
Right. So you saying now they going to hush him up, give him the ball,
hey,
huh?
Look, man. We hadn't heard it all week in practice. I know you're open. I know you came up with a new dance. Here we go. We're gonna have to make it happen. All right, y'all know, as we say on this broadcast, if you play team defenses and kickers, you're an amateur. Okay, you don't even need to be watching this. Go ahead and turn it off and just auto set your lineup for the rest of the year, and take third place and brag about how your auto drafted team did and all that stuff. But if you're playing in a real league, you're playing with individual defenders. So what do you got?
Oh man, and I had to be real on this one because they playing the Dolphins, but I just feel like Joey Bosa is just going to go off. This dude is
another angry white man.
But the thing about him is, they moved him around a little bit. I thought normally he's on the left side, and I saw a lot. Monday night he was on the right. It was kind of switching him some, but
they put him inside at all. I didn't watch that.
Nah,
I have a job.
But our tackle is not going to be able to put up with that. I mean, he's going to.
Is Tunsil still playing inside?
Nah, he's a left tackle, but
Tunsil can't handle him. He got drafted the same time he did. Same part of the draft.
Well, I put it like this: from a Dolphin fan, it's like Tunsil's has been anointed, like he's going to be great and multiple Pro Bowls, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to say he's like.
But that was the scouting report, though.
but what I see ain't that yet. You know what I'm saying? Like he's being anointed to that, but I don't see it yet. It's not happening
Sound like
yet.
Parcells. Don't put him in the Hall of Fame just yet, man. He had 3 passes that should have been intercepted.
But y'all left tackle.
Tyron Smith.
Yeah, that's him. That's who. Oh man, I mean, he just like. I'm like, come on, man. You know what I'm
Why don't
saying?
you pick somebody that's not going to the Hall of Fame? You know, just like let's calm
that
down.
kind
a
of
little bit.
thing. So I just see him because I think he still ended up with a couple of sacks. I mean, he had a sack and a half, and Ingram did last night on the Monday night. So
I love him. I wish he was on my team.
right,
If you've got him, trade him to me. Jerks.
and then I mean, I'm gonna go on the limb here and I'm gonna put Khalil Mack. For the simple fact, I just love that matchup, man.
MVP, man.
Right. I mean, hey, fantasy is all about matchups.
It is.
It's all about matchups. So if you got a good matchup, you got to run with it. Play as many guys as you can on that team because it's all about matchups. So.
And it's not just about matchups in the game. It's about matchups about who you're playing that week. Your job is to win 1 week. That is what you're trying to do. You're trying to win 1 week. That doesn't mean start crazy people every single week, like but you're trying to beat the guy you're playing.
Right.
Okay,
You're not playing the whole league.
You're trying to win each individual position. You gotta beat him at quarterback. You gotta beat him at running back. And if you beat him at enough positions, you're gonna win. You're gonna watch, and it's not gonna be a really a team victory. One of your position groups is gonna carry you. They're gonna blow out his receivers, and that's gonna be it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you gotta pay attention to that kind of crap.
So yeah, I just think he's going to have one of those kind of games where
Jay's going on a limb and saying Khalil Mack is good at football.
Oh man! All right, come on with it. What you got, man?
I'm taking Cam Chancellor against San Francisco because Brian Hoyer. I'd like to end my argument right there. Is there a microphone anywhere? Yeah. Cam Chancellor. I just think if they try to run it with Hyde. I think
I saw you running hard though.
He's good. Yeah, no, I think he's going to be down that box, encouraging them to not do that.
Okay.
And I think, it's hard to predict picks, but I can predict bad quarterback play. And I'm going to go with Cam Chancellor against Brian Hoyer. I'm also going to take Quan Alexander against the Bears because I feel like Jordan Howard had a bum shoulder this week in practice. And he was limited today in practice. And so they're going to be hopefully flipping it a lot to Tariq Cohen for me, trying to help me out. And then I think Quan Alexander is just one of the fastest linebackers in the league, and he's super active. He tackles anybody with the ball. If somebody picks it off, they have to avoid him because that guy will go tackle them. I think he's a monster, and I don't trust Mike Glennon that much either, so he might mess around and get a pick and take it to the house too. So I'm taking Quan Alexander against the Bears.
Both bad quarterback play, so you think them two might get a pick or some tackles. Okay.
I think it's going to be a turnover week for those guys right there. If you got Quan Alexander, trade him to NFL. We're going to shift to a little bit of NFL news. To you, what matters in the NFL right now? What's going on that caught your attention this week?
Well, one of the big things that is just the injuries, man.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, I lose a game by 1 point, and my receiver catches the ball one time and walks off, and then he's done for the year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Robinson getting hurt.
Yeah, and you traded him.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing I want to say. Look, all right, so you wonder why nobody want to trade with, especially me. So the trade I didn't make, the guy I kept towards ACL Edelman in the one league.
I begged this guy for Edelman all year. I mean, here's a draft pick, here's money. What do you need for Edelman? No, hey, jerk, no, you ain't getting him.
Yeah, boom,
ACL.
So did I go to you for a trade to get Robinson?
Which does not happen, ladies and gentlemen, at all.
Then bam,
he hates me.
The first play, first game, first
he comes
series.
to me. No. You came to me. And I was already thinking about, like, all right, what kind of a contract do I need to put on this guy in another year or two when it's time for that? And so I had Robinson, he had Hopkins, and I had originally rookie drafted Hopkins, and like a moron, I let him go. I was trying to trade Roddy White at the trade deadline because I was losing him that year, and freaking Joe talked me into DeAndre Hopkins. He only had about 700 yards that year, so I was like, yeah, you can have him the next year, 1,500. Like, so I was trying everything I could to get him back and get him on a contract. So Jay,
why are we talking about it?
Shut up! And so Jay ends up with him, and so he comes to me, hey, I'll give you Hopkins for Robinson, and I was like, everywhere I looked, they were one player off, two players off. They were right there on the rankings, and I was like, man, let's do it. Skin that smoke wagon, as we like to say. That's right. So we did.
And then like Eric Berry.
Man, I hate that one.
Right, man.
I hate that one.
And I think he knew it, because when he was just sitting there, he was just like I just couldn't imagine what was going through his head, and it's like he was just chasing Gronk across the field, and boom. Then I'm watching the Eagles game, and Darby. He's just running to the sideline. Nobody touches it on his own steps. His own steps, he dislocated his ankle. Like, man. So,
I guess because my wife's an athletic trainer, I always I sympathize with these guys. Man, I know that's a year that they're not going to get to play their game, and they're going to go through all this rehab. And that's why I take a guy like Jalen Smith, and I'm like, he amazes me with his attitude and how positive he is and all that stuff. Because he hadn't played 19 months until last week. I mean, that stuff is hard, man. Especially with these guys, that's all they do. That's all they know. That's their identity.
Right.
I hate the injuries.
And David Johnson, we talked about in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like, man, it's a brutal game, man.
It is.
And
these guys have families.
And this ain't the forum for it, but I mean, I just think that's why they'll never be with baseball and basketball when it comes to pay and guaranteed money.
Yes. Guaranteed money, no.
It just, Barry just signed his mega super guy deal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And bam, that's a year of it just gone. You know what I'm saying? And he just come from battling cancer. Like, I mean, I'm thinking of him like, you know what, man? It's even worth it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, hey, whatever was guaranteed, get it and ride off into the sunset. I don't know, but he'll probably, come back next year and be all pro and everything. And
defensive comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
but he's already done it once.
So that's the thing with me. Just the injuries, man. It's just a brutal game.
It is,
and we in fantasy, I think sometimes we lose sight of that.
Sure.
Because it's just
sure
he hurts and he go get his back. I need his backup. Oh, yes, I got his backup. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, oh man, this dude leg just fell off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we kind of.
He can't pick up his kids this week.
Right. And that's the part I think we can get caught up with in fantasy. It's just the injuries. And other news is, I think the Dolphins and the Bucks, I think them not playing last week and how the game is so instant, I think they're going to start slow, both of those teams, next week, because you got teams that already know, they already been hit in the mouth, you know what I'm saying, and they got to get hit yet. So I just think both of those teams might start.
They're going to be sloppy.
Slow. Right.
They will.
And so those are my, there's a lot happening in 1 week, but those are the kind of things that kind of jumped out to me.
Okay.
Yeah, big time.
Well, obviously, the first game was kind of on my mind this week because I've never seen Alex Smith play like that before.
Right.
And I don't think anybody has. I think he completed like 80% of his passes, throwing it deep. He must have had about 11 yards per attempt or something like that. It was crazy.
Right.
Crazy how good he played. And I thought it was an interesting point about pro athletes and how different, the pros are. And I remember watching the 30 for 30 about Elway and that 83 class and stuff, and talking about like what names got brought up in trades. And if you remember, this was 83. So Montana was drafted in 79 and he won the Super Bowl in 81. Well, his name was thrown about to get traded in 83. And so then he won in 84. He won the Super Bowl in 84. And then they came back, and in 87 they got Steve Young. And that's when Joe Montana became Joe Montana. Because 88 and 89, and really all of 90 until he got hurt in the NFC Championship game, you couldn't find a better quarterback than Joe Montana. And it wasn't because, he just kind of figured things out. He had the guts to say, he didn't know it at the time, but there's a future Hall of Famer behind me now. I'm either going to play well or I'm going to lose my job. Because if you remember Steve Young's famous run against the Vikings where he broke all those tackles, that was the 88 playoffs. So Montana was still the quarterback, and he still had 2 more years to play in San Francisco. So just kind of I think that the competition of spending those picks to move up to get Mahomes,
I think
it kicked in for Alex Smith.
I think it was I didn't click on it, but the heading was like Smith knows like he probably gonna be somewhere next year. Like he is reality to him. Because
he made a lot of money on Thursday night. Then.
He just check out and say, you know what, I'm done. I'll wait till the off season. I'm just roll with that right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Be the last thing y'all think of.
And the other thing was, if you remember in 2014, on that Monday night that you mentioned last week, when the Chiefs just beat the crap out of the Patriots, and then the quarterback question came up in the press conference, and Belichick murdered a guy, and then but my thought this week was, are we going to get another? This is the beginning of the end for the Patriots talk, or is it actually even real this time?
Right.
I know what you want.
Right. I'm going to say yeah, and then I'm going to say yeah again. I mean, why not? I mean, you only can be wrong so many times. Somebody just keep saying it, eventually you'll be right. Like, I told y'all, that was it, man. He's 40.
Jay, you said that in 2005.
Yeah, he hurt himself, so he's done. No, but they just didn't look good. There's a difference.
They did.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you this. They lose the week 1. You know how Tom Brady operates. You know how Bill Belichick operates. Do they win this week? I'm going to hold you to it. Do they win against the Saints this week? On the road in the Superdome?
I said they win.
Yeah?
Yeah, I said they win.
Okay, so your answer to the question is their demise, could it be real? It's really no. Because if they win this week, I think they're back to being the Patriots. Because they're always going to get the benefit of the doubt.
We'll see. I mean, who knows? It ain't a Patriot podcast, so.
This guy's so. I mean, if Dan Marino walked in right now, I mean, he'd lose his mind. All right. So your top starts for this week. Like, who are you going to the bank with this week?
Well,
fantasy football.
I said it's not a Patriot podcast, but here we go. Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady, and I'm gonna go with Marshawn Lynch. I just think it's his coming out party. His here I am, Superman stuff. So them.
Okay,
it's real easy. Them two.
All right, my big starts this week are Carr against the Jets. That was my quarterback, as I mentioned. Julio against Green Bay. If you remember last year in the NFC Championship game, Julio was not to be stopped that day.
Oh yeah,
and he made Green Bay look stupid last week. So last year. So I'm going Julio at home in the dome. Everybody's happy, and it's a big night game. So I'm going with that. And I'm going to do something that is unusual. I just told you don't start last week's winning lineup, but I want to take Stephon Diggs at Pittsburgh. And I know that Bradford came up on the injury report today, but I think he's going to play. And I think, by the way, if he doesn't play, I know Bridgewater can't play. Who the heck is their backup?
Wow.
Surely it's not Sean Hill. That guy's been in the league about 20 years. But I don't know who they would start, man.
They don't got a old boy because he went to Carolina. The brother they had for me.
Joe Webb?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I think he got cut by the Panthers too.
Oh wow.
But the reason I'm taking Diggs is because 70-something% of the time he lined up on the right, and 70% of the time last week Hayden lined up on the left. and I don't believe in Joe Hayden. If you get cut by the Browns, he was like their only Pro Bowler, like forever. And so, if you get cut by the Browns, man,
you might go get used.
And I don't know why the Steelers gave him all that money. I think he's spending his last year in Pittsburgh, and I don't know if he'll play. I know he's not going to play corner. I don't think he's going to play corner in the league next year. But if he's going to play next year in the league, he's going to have to play safety next year.
Man,
there it is.
Yeah, I know you just put everything. Get aside yourself.
Yeah. All right, top 3 break your hearts next week.
Well, I'm gonna go off of what you said. You don't start last week's lineup, but
okay.
Bradford and Alex Smith can't do what they did last week. I mean, just can't. Sure. I mean, there ain't enough. What did we just have? Eclipse to go on for that to happen.
Oh.
Yeah, we got to wait a whole bunch of more years for something like that to happen. So for them two to do what they did
So
last
what are you
week,
saying? Alex Smith's not going to throw for 80% and 4 touchdowns?
I don't see it, man.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
And I don't know if this guy's still a must start to some of y'all, but I just think you got to put T.Y. Hilton on the bench for a minute.
You've loved T.Y. Hilton for a long time too.
Right, I do, but the quarterback play is just so hard. But I mean, I don't know what this. This is not a New England podcast, but I don't know what the league fascination with the backup to Tom Brady. Like everybody wants Tom Brady backup, and so many times the guy sucks. But the next one that they draft, oh man, I mean. I know I'm by myself, but Garoppolo, maybe he might go on to be a Hall of Famer, but he's just in line with all the rest of them. I mean, we got Hoyer, Mallett, and
Castle.
Oh
my goodness,
that might be their backup. I don't know, but
he might be.
So just
I don't think he's on the Titans.
The quarterbacks just play as bad, so Hilton just leave him alone for a minute. So.
All right, break your heart. You ready? Ty Montgomery at Atlanta. I know Ty Montgomery's a good player.
Right.
But Atlanta's made improvements on their defense. It's going to be nighttime. It's going to be loud. There's going to be lots of emotion. And I think Green Bay's going to fall behind and have to throw it. So I'm going to go with Ty Montgomery as a break your heart this week. Jesse James. Don't go pick this guy up, man. He's not Heath Miller. He's not going to score.
See, he might be that guy where it's like you don't think that's who he is, and then
if he turns out that way, I'm gonna throw a party because I rookie drafted that guy, hoping he would. But they keep bringing in tight ends. Every time I turn around, they bring in a tight end. It's Ladarius Green, and here comes somebody else. We're trading for Vance McDonald and all this crap. And then a receiver that I've never had an affinity for. Like when he came out, I thought he was gonna blow the whole league up, and then. The first couple of years, it was kind of like, it's like, man, dude, you have to have toes to play in the NFL. Sammy Watkins at home against the Redskins. There are, I like the Redskins. It's like, why does the NFC East always have to have great coordinators? But you know, the Redskins have a good defensive coordinator, and I think they're gonna play well against the Rams. And
hating the Rams again, man.
I hate the Rams offense. I do, man. I'm surprised that Gurley is doing what he's doing. Maybe Sean McVay's a miracle worker. I don't know, but I just don't believe in Watkins.
They did score like 40-something points, man. I mean, I know.
Yeah, the defense, man. Crap. Yeah, they got the ball on the 4-yard line every time. I mean, crap. All right, so one-hit wonders for last week. What do you got?
Okay, so
like the guys that everybody ran to go pick up, and that there was a mistake.
Well, I ain't gonna go that far as a mistake, but
who's not gonna repeat what they did week one?
Right, and I'm going with Hunt. I mean, I know everybody think I hate Hunt, but I don't. I think he's a talented guy, but what he did, I don't see him repeating that. I don't see Cook repeating what he did.
Dalvin?
Yeah, they were just off the chain to me. So that's just too much. I think that
I disagree.
Both of them would be, but they both played bad defenses.
They did, but I agree with you kind of on Hunt. I didn't like Hunt. I had him way down my board in the rookie draft because he never seemed to like hit the home run in college.
Right,
and it's like you're at Toledo, man. I mean, crap, go score a touchdown.
But even on that long one, he had to like fight off like 5 people. Yeah.
When you start bobbing that head, man, you're pretty much done. You know. So, no, I mean, to me, he was barely outrunning a linebacker on that play. So I don't know. I'm not I think he won't be the guy that we look back and go, man, I wish I would have rookie drafted that guy.
So he's not going to be Priest Holmes.
But Cook, I think he'll still be productive because Andy Reid backs always finish in the top 10. But I'm not a huge believer in Kareem Hunt. And Dalvin Cook, though, to me, he's the future in Minnesota because if you give Latavius Murray, what was it, $4 or $5 million a year?
Right.
And then give him 3 carries?
Right. He wouldn't even have thought.
Say no more.
He should have been the one staring at the coach.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't about the inside zone. It was about, can I play? Can I get on the field too? I think he got out there.
McKinnon, you're up. McKinnon. Like, dude, I'm standing right here.
Yeah. No. Excuse me. Hey, McKinnon. You're in.
Little dude, get in there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, okay.
Or what else you got? One-hit wonders for last week.
Oh, one-hit wonders. Oh. Jared Goff. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think
you're just hating on the Rams, man.
No, I think he's progressing, but I just don't see. I mean, he was like 20 for 24. Like it was something crazy. His stat line, like from what he was doing last year.
Maybe Sean McVay is a miracle worker. Maybe we're stupid.
We might be, but I just think what Fisher was doing last year was just so bad to where anything would look a lot better than, like, you know, my man said like the play was like a coloring book or something, like it was that easy or whatever. So I don't think he's getting better, but he's not what happened Sunday. I don't think, not even the least bit. So I mean, I don't see people saying, "Oh man, he's a must start" kind of thing. No, that's not going to happen.
Didn't you trade for him in a dynasty league though?
Right. So I mean, I know it was a lot of the system in college with him, but I mean, he can throw the ball. So I'm just, why not? I mean, that's where I'm at on that. Why not?
All right. As they say in BISD, hashtag why not? All right.
You hating on Jesse James?
Yeah, Jesse James again. Once again, man, I hope I'm so wrong about Jesse James.
Oh, I can't wait till your third one. Go ahead.
So I got Jesse James.
No.
Don't believe the hype. Benny Fowler, only because I never heard of him until last week.
Junior.
GC, I didn't even know that. Benny Fowler, don't go pick him up. I like 2 receivers on that team better than him, and they got running backs that'll catch the ball too. And the third one is Nelson Aguilar. If there's a more hated person in Philadelphia, I don't know who it is. Maybe T.O. I mean, they hate that guy. And then there was nobody to cheer for last week but Nelson Aguilar.
But you know, he kept throwing in the ball though. He was getting a lot of targets, and I'm just like, it was kind of throwing me off. I'm like, what is going on?
You know what's funny about it? What? He switched numbers. Like when Alshon Jeffrey got there, he must have paid him for 17 because he was 17. So he probably was like, I'm not throwing it to 17. That guy sucks. I'm going to throw it to 13. And like, oh, wait, that's Nelson.
And even though, like, he always double caught the ball. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not a natural receiver, but he just kept throwing to him. And I'm just like, I got to keep an eye on this because this dude's getting a lot of targets. So I just kind of put that in my...
He's on the roster in our dynasty leagues. I don't know if he may pick him up in our redraft league.
I don't know. I just know he was getting a lot of looks. So I was like, okay, he might be on to something here. I don't know. So he might be around for a minute. He gonna make him catch it because I mean he just kept going. I mean they did the little.
They signed all these receivers for all this money and trade and all that other stuff.
Torrey Smith was just straight. He didn't run no other route but fly. You know what I'm saying? Zero. Like that's all he did. Like so he was there for nothing else. But they did a lot of, and then I think they put the rookie running back on IR today.
Pumphrey,
right,
they did.
Right. So he was doing a lot of that kind of stuff. Like the one play, like y'all can see what I'm writing right now, but he went like he was going for a reverse, and then turned around and came back the other way, and they threw in the ball.
Yeah,
he had to catch it
like
like five. Yeah. So I mean, they like that's a scheme play. Like that's drawn up for him.
For him, yeah.
So I don't know, man.
They're running out of options.
Maybe.
Well, if I talk all that hate, throw all that shade on Alshon Jeffrey, then why can't it be Aguilar? I guess, right? Well, I disagree. I'm gonna take he's a one-hit wonder. All right. The last part here, we're gonna take a question from Twitter, and that's gonna be fantasy_gametime at Twitter, and we want to give a shout out to our boy Brian Thacker. Brand new in our Dynasty League this year. He did something that I didn't do last week, and that was get a win. I didn't win nothing last week. So all this crap I'm talking, I didn't win nothing. I'm in 3 leagues, and I didn't win a blessed one. And I didn't get close in either one of them. None of them. And if Odell Beckham doesn't get back in the daggone lineup soon, I'm going to continue to lose.
Oh, man. Yeah.
All right. So Thacker says, do you want Kerwin Williams at Indianapolis, or do you want Thomas Rawls versus San Francisco at home? Would you like to get hit in the head with a hammer, or would you like to get shot in the chest?
Like, which one could be quicker? Right? But I went with Williams because when man, who was it? Was it Chris Johnson then? Whoever it was got hurt, and about a couple of years ago, Williams came in. I actually liked him.
Yeah,
I actually liked him, and I just don't trust. I mean, the Seattle running back situation is starting to clone the Patriots.
Oh, gosh,
like I have no idea what, who, or when, or how when it comes
they
to
give
running.
$5 million to Eddie Lacy. They give. They draft. I think it was Rawls was undrafted, wasn't he? I think he was undrafted, and he came in, and they just.
Oh yeah, we love you.
Oh yeah, they fed him like he was beast mode. They drafted. They drafted Alex Collins.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, pro size.
Yeah, drafted pro size.
He goes off.
And,
1 week. Love you.
I know because I had him in 2 leagues. He went off in 1 week. And so you got about 17 mouths to feed there, and then they got Chris Carson. And
he started the game last week.
I know he did.
I'm like, really?
23rd pick in the rookie draft, baby. This is our league shirt too, by the way, brand new, fresh out of the box.
10 yards rushing. Yeah, go ahead.
Man, shut up, dude. Hey, started for the Seahawks right there. He's talking all this crap about the Seahawks. That's your starting running back right there.
Practice squad next week. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right,
that's why I go with Williams, just because you just don't know, man.
I am too. I think both guys are in timeshare situations. You're already hearing about Chris Johnson. Andre Ellington actually, I think, had more plays on the field than he did last week. A lot of mouths to feed both places, but I've never trusted Thomas Rawls anyway. And how you got all that booty for him last year in the LFC, I don't know. Man, he traded him when he sold high, man, and he just like raked somebody over the coals. And
how you gonna talk about Jeff Reed like that, man?
Hey, man, Jeff will trade anything. Jeff's been known to trade pets. I mean, he will give up anything, man.
He's like him and Shells. They come. Hey, man, I gotta have this guy.
I got whatever it is. Well, give me the next 3 first-round picks. Okay, you can have them. We're out of here. Let's go. Well, fine. I'll send Vanderjet right on over there. All right, here we go.
I love that though. I mean, ain't that what we talked about? If you like a guy, go get him.
Go get him.
Why not? Who knows?
Get him. Especially if you're gonna trade me first-round picks. Come on with it. By the way, I got 3 in the LFC next year. 3 first one. All right. All right. Cool. That's all the time we got. It's not all the time we got. We could sit and do this for 3 hours, but we know we want to try to keep it under 4 hours, and so we've succeeded in that. You can find us on Twitter at fantasy_gametime. You can find us on YouTube at fantasy1gametime. We'll post this on YouTube. We'll leave this up on Facebook as well.
We want your comments. We want your questions. We you know, if I need to change the curtains in the back, I mean,
we don't care about that crap right now. We're just trying to get something done right
get
now.
a football theme or something. Like what colors is that? Like what
Man.
team are we trying to like? No team got that color. Yeah.
Man, please.
But, man.
We're eventually gonna be working out of a building with all these cool microphones and
sound
headphones.
effects. And
Oh yeah,
all kinds
drops and all that stuff. Yeah,
what do you
Dan
call it?
Patrick's gonna come in and show us how to do it. But we're gonna keep doing this just because we're having fun and we don't care. And
and our wives are letting us.
We can't be fired. The dog's in there. Our wives are happy. The kids are being taken care of. So we're all in good shape. So we're gonna keep doing this just because we're having fun, and hopefully we'll get a little more interaction.
Right.
Be able to take
we want
some
y'all
more
to really
questions.
be a part of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of our friends and fantasy guys out there to really act like this is yours. So what do you want to see? What do you want us to do? So.
And we just the stuff the topics that we did, we pulled out of the air. So I mean, if there's something else you want to hear, let us go. We went with 2 quarterback plays, 2 running back plays, all that kind of stuff. If that doesn't work for you, we'll try something else. We don't care. We're easy. So hit us up. Let us know what you want us to do. Leave us some feedback. And as always, man, keep Christ first, and you can't lose.
Amen, brother.
Cool, man. See y'all next week.
All right.